Yeah, what's happening, people? Welcome back to the channel. It's myself and Lee Judges again with you guys this afternoon, talking about the press conference reaction of Mikel Arteta this morning, who's been speaking quite a lot about the title race, quite a lot about the Forest game tomorrow night, which we're going to touch on as well. We're going to talk team news. We're going to talk formation change. We're going to ask if Mikel Arteta has anything in the locker to change it up and to try to bring the form back, which is what we need. Now, people might find that a bit funny when I say that, because obviously we've had the first loss in 15 or whatever it be, and the first loss at home this season. But let's be real. It hasn't been a very good season so far in terms of how Arsenal played, in my opinion. We're going to get your thoughts as well. Please make sure you do me a favour and hit like on this one. Please make sure you hit subscribe. The likes and subscribes over the last weekend have been absolutely phenomenal. The content that we've put out, you guys have absolutely eaten it up. Yes, I know some of you are Tottenham fans laughing at me and Lee, but I don't care. So big up to every single one of you. I do appreciate it. Thank you so much. I know Lee does as well. Lee, have you got over the weekend yet, mate?
No, I'm still down. I've been at the gym today. I know you've been at the gym today. I walked in the gym. One of the fellas in there, Dan, he's a fitness instructor in there, big Arsenal fan, can't say. And I just said that I just can't talk about it. I don't mean to be rude. If people come up to me at this moment in time, I just don't want to talk about it. Like, you know, one of them in there is a Liverpool fan, and he's come up to me like, big lad. Bottle job, like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, if he weren't such a big lad, he'd have got like the weights chucked down his throat, you know what I mean? I had to sort of take it down, you know what I mean? Big lad, you know, so muscle on muscle, you know what I mean? So I've had to let it go. But now I am feeling very, very down about it all. Like, and this press conference hasn't helped me. I put out, listen, we've gone with the thing over my dead body. I put the little tweet out. Do you know what I mean? You just have a little bit of a laugh on Twitter, because you know how toxic that is, or X, should I say. And I can't believe the, you know, backing of Mikel Arteta. It's like he's won 5 major trophies in the last 5 years. That, you know, and I get it, you know, he's got that aura about him and everything like that. But come on, you know, he's been fantastic for us, but he ain't been like ground worshipping sort of manager, in my opinion. You know what I mean? Like, I think he's done a fantastic job to get us where we are. If I'll be really honest, I don't think he can get us any further. That's my opinion now. Like, I think like I've seen enough to know that he's done very, very well. Every time Arsenal play a big game, every time we bottle it, every time we don't play well. And then, listen, it ain't just him as a manager. Just to play on. This is on the players as well. If you go back to, I mentioned 4 games, Dan, right? Home to Newcastle, home and away to Newcastle in the League Cup. 2 big games, semi-final. Name me a player that played well in those games. Struggled, didn't you? West Ham at home, yeah, like on Saturday. I mean, big pressure on that game to win that game because of what happened the week before with Liverpool. Like, name me a player that played really, really well. Right?
Struggling.
Bayern Munich at home, when we got to get a lead to progress into the next round. Tell me who played really, really well that day. You know, and it goes on and on and on. Now, people go, oh, what about when we beat Manchester City 5-1? I'm talking about when the real pressure was on. Go back to Aston Villa last season when pressure was on. Do you remember, for the first time in that season, it was in our hands, the title. What happened? So when you say about Mikel and all that, there are worries. It's not just him, it's the players as well. Like, I don't know if we can get us over the line. And the over the dead body comment, when doesn't matter what you do now, you can win every single game. You're not winning the league. And I just think, like, you know, I put it out on Twitter, like, you know, over his dead body. He should have been like over his dead body attitude in January. You know, like,
about signing players and frustrating. Let me read out what I thought was I saw this on Twitter and it just, if I'm honest, this is why people keep off of this X, I think, if I'm honest with you, but that's another story. But this is from the press conference. Mikel Arteta said, if somebody tells you at the start of the season that by this time you'll have played 5 times with a red card, over half an hour in each of them, you'd have lost the amount of players that we have. What's the bet? You're in the middle of the table and out of the Champions League. That's not our situation. So that tells you our resilience, the resources and ambition the team has, and that every individual and that time has probably been one of my proudest moments to work in that sense. The problem is when you're there, you want more and more. I'm not going to stop over my dead body that we stop thinking that way and putting everything we possibly can to increase that probability of us winning, being better than the opponent and hitting that performance standards constantly, regardless of what happens. Let me just break that down a little bit here, judges, right? Let me ask you some questions on this. This this is actually laughable. Okay. This is pathetic. Because it's like he's blaming everything but him, but he is actually the reason that he's in this mess. If I've made myself clear there, right? So the first half he's saying, if I was to tell you at the start of the season, we'd have played 5 times with a red card and over half an hour in each of them. These red cards are not the reason that we drew those games. Our missed chances were. Let's just have this right. I'm sick and tired of blaming referees, VARs, and red cards. Red cards definitely impact the game, no doubt about it. But if you go back and watch every single one of those games, you cannot tell me that the red card was the reason that we lost to Bournemouth. We were crap. Yeah. The red card was not the reason that we didn't beat X, Y, and Z because we didn't take our chances in those games. And we had chances, by the way, with 10 men. Yeah. So this is crap what he's talking about. But even if it is the reason that we've not done that well, we shouldn't be anywhere near mid-table or out of the Champions League like he's suggested. Right? It ain't been that bad, Mikel. Yeah. It ain't been that bad. You have not worked miracles to get a team that's got 5 red cards this season, second place, and still in the Champions League and out of everything else. You ain't worked miracles, mate. So don't pat yourself on the back too hard, is what I'd say for that first paragraph, right? The second paragraph, he says that we're not in that situation and it shows that we have resilience and ambition. This football club does not have resilience and ambition because in the last 2 transfer windows, it's shown little to zero ambition. And the resilience of the team shows that whenever the pressure comes onto Arsenal, we crumble, as you've just proven in the scenarios and examples that you've given. And in the last situation, he's basically saying he's not going to give up. But we all know that it's done now anyway. And I agree with you, lastly, that over his dead body, we stop thinking. Well, it should have been over your dead body, we do nothing in this transfer window. Because over your dead body will mean that our season's over. And lo and behold, you've done nothing in the transfer window, which he's to blame for just as well as the board and the ownership. And now we're out of everything and the season's done. Now, people might say that we're in the Champions League still. Don't give up. Have the hope. Please have the hope, Dan. Don't tell me my precious Arsenal's going out of it again. We are not winning the Champions League, people. Let's just have it right. We would not even have a chance of winning the Champions League, yeah, with our European heritage, with our European Cup runs under this manager, with our fully fit squad. So without Saka and Martinelli and Havertz as a front three coming back until April, is it? We might even struggle to get through PSV. And people laughed when I said that, by the way, judges, at the weekend. I said, I don't even fancy just get past PSV. Oh, joking. Oh, my God. I'm getting ready for Mbappe and Vinny Jr. They're coming to the Emirates, mate, against Real Madrid. Well, let's hope we beat PSV then, because otherwise PSV will be getting ready to warm up for Vinny Jr. and Mbappe at their ground, not ours. So that was the part of the press conference that I could not quite settle on, if I'm honest with you, because it's arrogant, it's stubborn, it's Mikel Arteta-ish, if I'm honest. And that's why people don't like what he's doing. And I'm with you. And I love somebody, if it's not yourself, because I don't think you can answer this, I would love somebody in the chat who loves this manager to tell me why he deserves protecting over a manager that was successful over a 22-year period. Because in the last 5 years of Arsene Wenger, I have seen a manager treated horrendously badly, right? Horrendously badly. Now, in some cases, I was probably a part of that at the time because I wanted him gone as well. But I was never abusive towards him, right? I just thought his time was done, Arsene Wenger. With this guy, you even questioning him, go support Tottenham. Don't come near me. Don't you dare talk about my manager like that. Now, I would love someone to explain what he's done over the guy who actually won trophies, invincibles, doubles, FA Cups, Premier League titles, over a guy who's done none of that, only been here for 5 years, but seems to have so much more protection than a manager that was here for 22 years, that is a legend, whether you still love him or hate him, that will be recognised as a legend, that does have a statue at the ground, that with 750 million will be playing actually attack-minded football, which we all want to apparently be seeing, is what I keep being told, and that would have won trophies by now, even if it was just domestic ones, like he was in the last few years of here at Arsenal. Why do people have this massive amount of protection for a manager who has done nothing to win us any trophies? Please, someone. Am I being harsh? Is that me being harsh there? Am I the deluded one who's thinking, I can't believe you don't want the Arteta of the 5 years that's not won anything, and you want to get rid of that scummy bloke who was here for 22 years who won all them trophies? We don't want trophies at Arsenal. We want entertaining football and win the dog. Is that what these people are after? I'm sorry, I cannot get this, mate.
I don't get that. Like, listen. I'm not saying that Arteta should be sacked and all of that, but I do think that he's got to be up for debate, and the amount of backing he gets, and I can't believe it, Dan. I really can't. Like, you know, I mean, I'm one of these ones that just wants Arsenal. I'm not really. I'm not a lover of Arteta. I'm not a hater of Arteta. Like, I just want him to be successful. That's all that I want. One thing I will say about what was said there. Yes, I give him credit with all the injuries that we've had and all the setbacks that we've had. To keep us in second place is an achievement, because when you look at other teams like Tottenham, Man United, Chelsea were up the top at one stage. No one's calling them bottle jobs. They're just falling apart, absolutely falling apart. So for that, I have to give him credit. I have to give him that. When he talks about the red cards, as you quite rightly said, Bournemouth was a horrendous performance. That red card covered up the sins there, like, yeah. The one against West Ham didn't make no difference whatsoever. Not one difference whatsoever. We was 1-0 down and gone, right? You know, so that was that. I do look at that and say that 4 points have cost us from sending offs, right? Because if you have a look at the sending off against Wolves, we won that game from 0-0. So we gained 2 points from that, if you want to look at that, right?
Yeah.
Brighton and City, I do think that we would have gone on and won those games. So that's 4 points on top of what we've got now. Put those 4 points on. Let's put those 4 points on now, like, you know, where we'd be. We would be on 57 points, still 6 points behind Liverpool, right? I don't hear him turning around and saying, do you know what? As well as I've done, I hold my hands up for the 5 or 6 times I played Thomas Partey at right back and we ain't won a game. He hasn't said that, has he? Like, you know what I mean? I haven't, you know, I've made a mistake there by not doing that. The football that we're playing is not entertaining. It was so poor on Saturday that the crowd weren't even up for the game, Dan. Let's be honest, they weren't even up for the game. It was poor. Watching us play is poor. Now, there's lots of things that you can go on and say about and everything like that. Like, if you said to these people, you got them into a room, right, and you said to them, right, do you think Chelsea manager should be sacked? They'll all go, yeah, he's been crap. Right, he's got to go. They then turn around and go, what about the Man United match? Oh, yeah, he's got to go. I bet you every single one of these people will be going, Ange has got to be sacked. What about Mikel? Oh, no. He's done this and he's done that. Like, no. Like, and I may be guilty of this. I may be a little bit guilty of this because how can I say it? You're watching it from the outside in, like, you know, so you haven't got the emotional feelings and attachments to it, like, you know. Do I think Ange should be let go at Tottenham? I think that he will do if he doesn't win the cup for them this season. I've got no hesitation to think that he'll go. But there is that little bit of doubt when it comes to me when when it's Arsenal, you don't want to see players get drops. You don't want to see. I don't know if I really want my manager to be sacked and whatever, And listen,
well, let me put this. I don't normally do this, but Evs is asking you here because he doesn't know what side of the fence you're on. He's saying, Lee, you need to be clear what you're saying. Do you want to be sacked or do you want to back him? It really is one or the other. It's not hard. Stop the fence. What do you reckon?
I don't think it's as easy as that. It's black and white. I'm not at this moment in time saying...
In May, will it be, Lee? That's what my question is to you. In May, if we win nothing, what would you be different then? Or are you still the same now? Do you still hang on to the fact we could finish the season well?
This is how I see it, Dan. This is how I see it.
Go on. This is what, yeah.
I see it. I think you can give him another summer. Me personally, I don't think he's going to get us over the line. I think he can get us second, third in the league again next season. We can challenge for it. I don't think he is good enough as a manager to get us the Champions League or the league. Now, when people say that, go, well, why is that? Because I've just seen over the last couple of seasons. But this season, I've seen it even more. So at the end of the day, now, does that deserve to be sacked? That's a different thing, right? You know what I mean? I think if you come 8th, 9th or whatever, you deserve to be sacked. But when you're challenging like Arsenal have and everything like that, I'm not saying that he deserves to be, sacked, he's a clown and all that. What I'm saying, though, is there comes a time when you've got to say, as harsh as it is, you're not good enough. And I don't think that's the wrong thing to say, and I won't have it that when people go I think a couple of people are already saying that Arteta's a clown. He's not a clown because he's got us to second in the league, you know what I mean? There's lots of other managers that have, started the season and not been in this position now. And they're not getting the match.
I don't think many fans can sit there and say that he hasn't taken us to where we wanted to be, which is challenging.
Yeah.
Our question now, like you've rightly said, Lee, is can he get us across the line? You and I both don't think he can. Right now, I'd love to be proven wrong. I'd love him to bloody win something this season. I don't think he can get us across the line. In May, you will think differently to me. I would sack him. If it was me, if we win nothing in May, I would sack him. Now, people might think that's harsh. That's fine. I don't care. That doesn't bother me if people think that's harsh. But I would go a different direction because I'm done waiting, if I'm honest with you. And if we bring a player, someone said to me the other day, who do you want? Who do you bring in? I hate that question, by the way. Look, you bring in another manager. I don't care. I'll give you 5 or 6 names. What happens if they don't do it? Well, you give him the 2 years, and if he can't get us across the line, you bring in somebody else. This is what happens. You don't stick with the same manager who's failing every season and go, well, I don't really want to sack him because we don't really think there's anyone else. Did Jurgen Klopp, when he left Liverpool, did Liverpool fans go, oh, my God, there's nobody else? And then Arne Slot walked in and went, going to win the league here, going to win the Carabao Cup, potentially going to win the Champions League. They win 3 trophies, which they're favourites to do, by the way. Yeah. If you look at the way they're playing in Europe right now, it's better than most teams, other than maybe Barcelona. So, look, there is other managers out there, and it will not matter if Arteta leaves, because guess what? He might leave when you and I are no longer here, Lee, right? It might leave one day in the next 10 months. There will be a football club called Arsenal Football Club that still exists and continues without him.
And I don't understand that theory when people say that, because Mikel, we could pick up the papers tomorrow or put on Sky Sports News and Arteta has decided to quit, or he's decided to, for personal reasons, has left for a job at Barcelona or something like that. That could happen. So when you say that, now this is why I don't get too attached to them, to managers and all that, And listen, look, I think Lawrence just said something in the chat. If we lose on tomorrow, we've got. I don't think Arsenal have any right to win any game of football now to the end of the season. I wouldn't be surprised if they lose on Wednesday. I wouldn't be surprised if they don't win another game.
We'll lose tomorrow night, 100%.
Yeah, I don't think that we could win at any game. This is how I see it, by the way, the Champions League game, how it's going to go. Arsenal have to go to PSV next week and draw 0-0, right? It'll be the most boringest game ever. That's what I expect it to be like,
You can't concede,
Okay.
yeah.
Right, and then we nick a 1-0 win at home. Right, that's how you get through. And then you just, ladies and gentlemen, just enjoy watching Real Madrid. I don't think I've seen them Patrick live. I might have done. I can't even remember. I might have
No,
done.
we haven't.
I don't think I have. So I should look forward to watching that and blah 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 blah. Because when they do come to town, they'll have elite players up front. We'll have makeshift players up front. So there's no way we're going to beat them. So just enjoy that moment. And, that's how it goes. So for me, it is all about beating PSV so that I can go to Real Madrid and watch Real Madrid. And I'll tell you this now, if it's not 8-goal difference, I'll be very, very surprised. 4-0 over there and probably 3-1 over here, 4-1 over here. I wouldn't be surprised. Right, we're going to get. That's how it is. Now, someone said in the chat earlier on, after the Wolves game, back to players. Yeah, I still. It's got nothing to do. I'll still go tomorrow and I cheer on the team and all that. Like, I will back the players and I back the club to the hilt. But deep down in here, I know we ain't winning tomorrow. And even if we do win tomorrow, the reason we'll win tomorrow, if we do win, then, is because there's no pressure on that game, right? But we might go on a 5-6 unbeaten game now, win every single game. And Liverpool then might slip up 3 times. And then the pressure's on and we're foul again. And that is the problem we got, until that gets addressed. And going back to the thing now, listen, I'll be amazed that at the start of the season, Mikel is still in charge, whatever happens. So I'm you can say what you want and whatever. Let's see what he gets back with this wonderful, wonderful season. Everybody there's a lot of people out there, I've seen it on Twitter today, are backing Arteta and the ball to do this madness. And if that madness is Sesko, I've heard today, right, and Nico Williams up front, that's the madness you got, do one. Because you've got two potential players that, that are not the real deal yet. They might be in 2 or 3 years' time, but they're not the real deal. Arsenal got to go and get the real deals. Players that are going to take us to the title next season and the season after and the season after that, right? And that is then, when them players are put in place, then it's all on the manager because he's got the tools. And if we're in this position this time next season, he shouldn't be here. You know what I mean? Like if he doesn't win one of those big gun trophies, I ain't a betting man, Dan, but I'm not putting any money on Arsenal winning the league next season. Don't matter who they get. If Arsenal bring in Isak, Nico Williams, Zubimendi next season, right? That's a good window, yeah? 3 of them players, is that a good window? I think that's fantastic, right? Maybe a central defender to replace a couple of players, a goalkeeper and all that, 6 signings, right? But they're your main 3. Zubimendi, so you've got a midfielder, Zubimendi, Odegaard and Rice, or Zubimendi might even have to leave Rice out and you play Odegaard and Wenger if you're playing against the block, because he's going to have to change that. When we're playing teams in the body, that midfield's got to change. It's got to be more adventurous. Even that, I still don't think that Arsenal will win the league. Now, what does that tell me about? What does that tell you?
You don't rate the manager. You don't think the manager can get you across the line.
There you go.
Look, I'm going to agree with you there, right? Now, I don't want the manager here. I'm sick of him, right? I don't want the manager here. I don't rate him to that level, right? But he isn't the biggest problem, which we'll come on to in a minute in terms of the ownership and the board, right? But I want to see ambition at Arsenal in the summer. That is, I only want Isak, Gyökeres or Harry Kane. They're the only 3 strikers I want to come in the door.
I've said that. That's the 3 that I've said.
They're the 3 that I want. One of those 3
has to come after this shambolic window. Right?
Yeah. There's obviously an order of what ones you want them in, but I'll take Isak all day long. But if you can't get Isak, then Harry Kane or Gyökeres need to come in. Right, that's got to be done. Williams, if that's who you want, cool. I quite like him. Yeah, I don't think he's had a very good season, but I think he's got a lot. But I would prefer, personally, Cunha or Lookman because they're doing it now. I would like Mbeumo to come because we need Saka cover big time, as we've seen this season. So he needs to. And we definitely do need to bring in Zubimendi and one more. And that one more needs to be like a Morgan Rogers, somebody like that, who's going to be a number 8 that's going to properly drive us forward with our midfield. Not a Declan Rice, who is a 6 trying to play a Morgan Rogers role, which isn't doing a very good job at it, as we've seen in the last few games. And we definitely need some backups at the back because we're going to lose a few defenders in the window. If I don't see that window, which I can tell you right now, we're not going to see, we are not going to sign 7 players and cover all the positions again and take us to the next level. Our window is going to be a centre half of some kind that we won't really know, a replacement of Kivior, one Garcia in goal, Zubimendi, Sesko and Williams. They're the 5 that we're going to bring in my opinion. And I don't think that is enough next season to go and get us across the line. I'm just going to be real.
No, I agree with that. Like, listen, I'm going to make you right now. I think like look, Isak Cunha would be a fantastic signing as well. Zubimendi, like, yeah, right. I will go along with it because I think Cunha could play like as an attacking midfield player as well. Do you know what I mean? One that can play in the whole, playing that Odegaard role as well. Like, so I do think that's the thing there. You know, like, if Aston Villa don't make the Champions League, I'll be all over Rodgers all day long. But, you know, I mean, that might be a little bit too out of our budget if you're bringing in those players. If it is like an Isak and a Williams or someone like that, we can forget about it. You can forget about it then, right? And that's how I feel at this moment in time, like, you know. And then the pressure is all on the manager. The pressure. Listen, I just want to address the Declan Rice thing. I think Declan Rice can do that role. I think he's been a wonderful, wonderful signing for us. Like, I had a little bit of a pop at him the other day, not because of his performances for Arsenal, just his 2 performances against West Ham at home. That's all. I think he's got to get them out of his head now and move on. Because he hasn't. His 2 worst games for Arsenal have been West Ham at home, West Ham at home. You know, so I feel that, and I get it. He's got feelings for West Ham, and that they've sort of really gone uncomfortably against him. And like, I've had like a couple of messages from West Ham people I know, like, you know, Judas, see you next Tuesday. Like, you know, we've cost him 2 titles and things like that. And that's why I said what I said. But at the end of the day, I'm still a massive Rice fan.
I love him. I love him.
And I think that his attitude is spot on. And if you said to me, would you spend 100 million again on him all day and every day? I think he's been a wonderful, wonderful player for us. So, you know, like, people turning around and saying, oh, Arsenal fans have gone off Declan Rice and all that crap. We're just talking about 1 game or 2 games if you want to talk about the West Ham games. But I think he can do all round. But maybe, you know... do
you agree he's better in the 6, though, yeah? You agree he's better in the 6? You think he can do both, but his position is the 6? Like Saka...
Yeah, I think he's still... I like him in the 6, and I like him in the 8. I think that there's so much more to his game. I think that there is more to his game than just being a 6. That's my honest opinion. Do I think he plays it well? Bloody hell, yeah, he does. And I think if we want to be a force in Europe, it'll be Zubimendi and him playing maybe as 2 6s and then trying to get something else going. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, you know. Listen, wherever he plays, I love him, whatever position that he plays, apart from when he plays against West Ham. But that would be all. But, you know, listen, Declan Rice is a signing that we needed, but we now need another Declan Rice as a centre forward sort of thing. You know what I mean? Like, not the Declan Rice, the signing of Declan. We need that marquee big signing. And yes, it's going to depend on where Newcastle finish in the league, and we all know that, like, you know, and we all know that it is. But that's what we're going to have to do. And I don't want to be waiting. I think Chris Hudson was in the chat and he said something that we've got to get a director of. That's the first thing. Sporting director. That's got to be done now. Get
How
that
long have
done
we been
now.
waiting for that? How long are we going to
Well,
wait for that?
that's the first thing that's got to be done. And then, like, he comes in on next week and he says, right, who are we getting next? You know what I mean? That's got to be done. And then we've got to bring in the players. And I don't want to hear all this thing like, oh, well, we can't do this, can't do that. You put yourself in a position where realistically, if you don't do what we expect in the summer, I think that things are going to go pear-shaped at this football club. I really do. You know, I think someone said to me the other day, Dan, I don't know if this is true, that in about 3 weeks' time, renewals will be up for your season ticket, like, you know what I mean? Like 3 weeks' time, like, you know what I mean? And, you know, so you're buying your season ticket on the hope that they're gonna sign some players. But I'll tell you this now, if they don't sign these players, it's got nothing to do about winning or whatever. Like, it's like you've got ourselves into the Champions League and got this money, and if you're not going to do nothing about it, what is the point of chasing your dream of trying to think you're going to win leagues and things like that? So I think it's on the ball. Now, the one thing I will say this is, but people turn around and go, all right, now hear me out on this. People are going, it's got nothing to do with Mikel. He hasn't, it's all on the board. It's all on the board, you know, why we didn't sign a striker. So, come the summer, if that is correct, and it is all on the board and not on the manager had no say in it. He wanted to sign someone and they've refused to do it, right? It may be well that they're turning around and they've got every right to say, do you know what? We don't think you're good enough, Mikel. So that's why we didn't give you the money in January. We're going down a different route, right? Ruthless club would do that. But I bet they don't. I bet they go, all right, well, you're the man, Mikel.
Of course I will.
So when people turn around and say this is all on the board, hell, it's not. You telling me that they didn't come with one option of a player? Now, I'm not saying it was Kuna. I'm not saying it was Isaac. We know that. Maybe it ain't even Ollie Watkins. I'm going to try and think of a player that could have got. Oh, let's go with it. Like, you know what I mean? Jared Bowen at West Ham might have been there. Like, Kudus at West Ham could have been one, right? Yeah. Mateta at Crystal Palace. I'm not saying that's a great thing, Dan, right? But I'm just saying these could have been offered, right? Could have been offered. And you can think of somebody else.
Colin Mawani as well. He
Huh?
went to Juventus on loan, Colin Mawani.
Yeah, right,
Colin
we could
Mawani
go
went
for
to
him.
Juventus on loan.
Rashford, a senior. I'm also
Asensio,
going to say, you might think that I'm a little bit that. Calvin Lewin's being mentioned, right? Okay. We can bring him into the equation. Delap at Ipswich, right? All of those players, right? Now, I think so. Right, let's just bring in Calvin Lewin. That's a good one. That's a good one to bring in, right? We can get Calvin Lewin on loan. Is he your ideal? Is he your ideal signing? Is he my ideal signing? No, right? Would you have him over coming off the bench over Shinchenko, Tierney, or Miles Lewis-Skelly?
Well, he's an option to bring on for a striker finally, isn't he?
That's what I'm saying. So I'm saying, right, and I'm just using him as an example. He would have had offers like that, Mikel. And what he done was, I'm not having a game when he said that. He goes, do you know what? I'd rather stick with what I've got with Havertz and blah, 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 blah. Because by this time, Havertz weren't injured. Let's not forget that, right? Blah, 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 blah. No, I don't really want him, right? Okay, the next one, Delap. It's going to cost us a little bit of money. It's going to impact us getting your striker in the summer, Mikel, right? Okay, so, but you can have him if you want. It's an option. I don't want to impact the summer, so I want my son. No, so Delap goes out the window. That's what I'm saying would have happened, Dan. You know what I mean? Like, so at the end of the day, he then chose nothing, right? He said, you know what? I'm going to gamble on Havertz being fit all season. When someone said the other day, I think it was on on Sophie's channel, like the Hybrid Squad yesterday, like you could see Havertz was physically knackered against Wolves. It's a massive gamble, Dan, to say no. Now, I'm going if Edu was there or David Dean back in the day with Arsene Wenger. Probably Arsene Wenger would have gone, no. Look, David Dean would have gone, hold on a minute. What happens if we lose Havertz? What happens if we lose Martinelli in January? Because it could happen, Mikel. No, it won't happen. But it could. Let's get someone in just in case it does. Love and behold, it has happened. So, listen, you can be lucky.
It goes as well for the summer window prior as well, by the way, Lee. This January one was a joke, but so was the summer. If I said to you before before it opened, if I would have said to you, we're only going to spend 80 million this season, you'd have gone, oh, that's a shame. But at least we'll get a top quality striker in with that money. No. We're going to get a left back who can play centre back for 40 million of it. That's half of it gone already. That ain't kicked a ball this season. And when he does, in my opinion, might be quite an unpopular one, looks nowhere near as good as Lewis-skelly at left back, who was free as a 17-year-old. Still can't get nowhere near the level of consistency defending as Kieran Tierney, in my opinion. But that's just my opinion. Everyone likes him because he's got long hair, maybe. And then you've got Marino, who's going to be spent on defensive midfielder who can play attacking midfield up front and in goal by the looks of it as well. And then we've got Raheem Sterling coming in and Neto coming in. If I would have said to you now, Lee, we've got two options. You can bring Sterling in. He might not be your favourite, but he's going to be back up to Saka. A backup goalkeeper, Neto. And we're going to bring Marino in and Calafiori. Right, okay. Or we can spend it all on Gyökeres. I'm spending it all on Gyökeres. Sorry. 84 million release clause. Done. In he comes. And we've had a shocking window spending money on players like that. Oh, it's criminal, mate. It's sackable offences.
I'm with you on this, Dan. I would have. Yeah, hindsight's a wonderful thing, you know what I mean? Because when you look at it, Havertz was banging in the goals and playing very, very well from January to May. It would have been a little bit harsh to say, right, we've nearly won the league. So I'm going to drop you and get this £80 million player in. But what happened for me was, right, okay, we're not going to do it. But as soon as you knew it weren't working, Dan, you could have done it in January. Just gone and got the release clause and just gone and done it, you know what I mean? Now, don't turn around to me and say that, he wouldn't have come and all that. Their manager is at a crap club like Man United at the moment. And I mean crap club, not as in big club, but they're in the mud, right? He was top of his league in Portugal, top of the Champions League when this all happened, right? Why didn't he turn around and go, do you know what? I'll come next year. Why did he go then?
Exactly.
Because he had a big enough offer to make it happen then. That's Man United, right? So you're telling me we couldn't have done that in the January? Look, the 1st of January said, look, things have gone all tits up here. We want you now. We're going to pay this and do that, and they could have done it. The fact of the matter is, I'm going to tell you this now, Gyökeres is not coming to Arsenal. I'll be shocked if he comes to Arsenal. Shall I tell you why? Because I don't think Mikel wants him.
Isak isn't going to come either, by the way. You know that.
He bloody better. He bloody better. Because if we're not, who are we holding out for? Sesko?
Well, they want him. They want him, apparently. It's just been run out the mirror saying he wants him. 180 million euros, Liverpool, Isak. That's the latest rumour.
Well, listen, they can want him as well, you know what I mean? At the end of the day. Listen, if Isak goes up for sale, Arsenal not going to be the only club in for him. Right? What Arsenal got the chance of getting him is that the Rio Sociedad things are all there with Odegaard and Marino and the sporting director. So it could happen, you know what I mean? And why would you go Liverpool over Arsenal? Only ambition of a football club. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, Arsenal are going to offer as much as what they can and all that. It's a what then comes down to who he thinks is going to win it, isn't it? for him. You know, like Vlahovic is another one. Like he ain't the out-and-out goal scorer. And I'm sorry, like, you know what I mean? If you was to
Take him, I'll take him now, though.
I'll take him now. But what are you telling me that like someone
But
like
he ain't better than what we got. Yeah.
No, that's what I'm saying. So you've waited and spent nothing in this window for him in the summer.
But you do know who we're getting, don't you? You know it's Sesko.
We're going to get.
Yeah, you know it's going to be Sesko. You know it's going to be Williams. You know it's going to be Zubimendi. That will be the three big names, and we'll probably get the goalkeeper from Espanyol that we're obsessed with, Juan Garcia, come in a backup Raya, and we'll get a backup defender. I think that'll be our summer league.
I think we'll get that Cunha as well. I think Cunha will come.
Maybe.
I think, yeah. I think Cunha will.
We'll probably get that young Rosenborg lad. I don't know what happened to him.
Back up to the other guys. Yeah, he'll be the one that come in and be a backup to Odegaard and Rice and whoever. Like, yeah, I think that, and that's a sensible move because we've got another young kid coming through in a couple of years' time. So you don't want to block off too many paths. So that will be sufficient. Two midfield.
Those sort of signings are fine, like for backup. So I don't want them playing.
No. Zubimendi comes in and he replaces Thomas Partey.
Yeah.
We and this young kid replaces Jorginho in the squad. That's fine. That's fine. You know what I mean? Midfield's fine because also you can include Wenger into that midfield, and I also think you can include Miles Lewis-skelly into that midfield as well. So I think midfield's sorted. I think defence is sorted. Only a little bit of.
I think we might need one if Kivior goes. We're gonna sign one.
You know, like one in, one out sort of thing.
Yeah,
right. That's all I'm saying on there. Maybe like Zinchenko going. You still got cover with Calafiori. Timber can play left back. Tomiyasu can come in there when he's available. Blah, blah, blah. So I just think it's just maybe two out or Tierney go, as we know. So two out, maybe two in. Maybe a right back / central defender as well. Something like that. As I say, a goalkeeper. And then up front, it's major surgery. I think, if I'll be really honest, obviously Sterling's going to go back. Maybe cash in on Trossard, a little bit of money on Trossard, and then go for the big white player, whether it be Cunha, whether it be Williams. It may be even three players coming in there, Dan. That'd be nice. All three of them. You know,
well, if we sell Trossard, Jesus is obviously out long term, then we could bring in two players. Three players across the front line. Yeah.
And listen, soon as Jesus is fit in January, see you later. Like, you know, that'd sell him as well because that's not what you want up front. No more. Then you've got like the main striker. You've got Havertz backing it up to play different side of it. Two unbelievable wide players. You still got Wenger that can back up Saka in that role as well. Like, so that's how I see it going, and that will be the only thing that will satisfy me after what I've seen. This, and then it's got to go and win the league. Then they then have to go and win the league. Now, then it all comes down to one man. Then, if it is the man or it isn't,
it's absolutely fair.
And you know, if he doesn't do it next season, he's never going to with that sort of team. You'd have to say, right, you've got to get someone else in that can, like, you know. Do I think that he'll still win the league? No, I don't. But that's up to then the manager and all that, like, to do it. But as what I'm seeing, and everybody, you know, there's a lot of them on Twitter and everybody like that. They're all confident that Mikel's still the man. So, and do you know what? I'm not going to sit there and I turn around and say to them, you're this and you're that, you're deluded and whatever. If that's what they think, then that's fine. That's fine. As I say, like, you know. And at the end of it, Dan, whatever way you look at it, you know, people can call me a flip-flop, whatever. I love that word. I am a flip-flop. I love it. Thank you very much.
Everybody is, man. We all are.
I take it as a compliment. But what I'm
happy
saying,
when we win, crap when we lose.
If Mikel is the manager next season, what do you want? What do you want me to do as a fan? not go no more? Or do I back the situation and back the players and back him? Of course you do. You've got to back him, whether you like it or whether you don't.
As a whole, the fan base have been incredibly patient at Arsenal. I'm sorry.
100%. I think I've been more than patient.
Yeah,
over the last few years, you know what I mean. I don't see as last season. A lot of people see it as a failure. I never see it as a failure. People have a go at me about it, say, "Oh no, it weren't a failure." I don't think it was. This season for me has been a massive failure, and why it's been a massive failure because I've not gone up and down the country being blown away by our football like I was last season. I come away from games going, "Wow, how good was that? Oh my God." You know what I mean? That was brilliant. Like, you know what I mean? I come away from games now going, oh my God, how boring is this walking football? Someone said it today, like, I can't stand it. And I see it on Twitter, I think, or X or whatever it is. And he's so right, Dan. After 5 minutes, if Raya has got the ball and he's rolling it around, waiting for something to happen, do you know what? When he does that, like, you know what I mean? It is the most annoying thing in football. He stands on the ball sort of thing. Do you know what I mean? And he'll roll it back 2 yards and roll it back another 2. When it go forward and all that, like he said, it's the most frustrating thing to see. Well, I didn't. I said it to myself. It is very, very frustrating. But seeing Thomas Partey at right back's even worse. You know what I mean? So that's my thing. Like, you know what I mean? But they are little things that I don't want to see at Arsenal. Raya, stop doing that. Get the ball in it out quickly, like, you know. How many times I don't know about you, but I don't want to spend a lot of money on a season ticket watching Gabriel and Saliba pass the ball between them like they're on a training session.
Honestly, when I watch them too, I love them, but I love them more when they're not sitting on the beach doing that. Because that is I could do that with my old man on the beach, just passing the ball across. It's just so boring to watch. It really is. But look, we're going to run out of time because of my show.
Yeah,
so I want to get your quick team prediction and your thoughts on tomorrow night's games. I'm really interested to know what team you'd go for, really, because obviously at the moment we're running out of options on what to do. What would you do? Would you keep it? I mean, you all know my thoughts. I would change the formation.
I'm changing this.
But what are you saying, bruv? What are you going with?
3 at the back, 5 in midfield, and 2 flyers up front.
Go on then.
So I'm going to go Raya, in goal. Even though he played very well in the midfield role. Raya in goal, 3 central defenders, Saliba, Ben White, and Gabriel. Wing backs, Timber and Calafiori. 3 in midfield of Rice, Partey, and Wanyeri, Sterling and Trossard up front.
So Odegaard's been dropped then?
Yeah.
Okay. That's interesting because he has been poor.
No, he does deserve start.
Wow. He's been poor. Well, this is a surprise because I didn't think you were going to do the formation change like me. I wanted to do this 2 games ago when we played Leicester and had the Havertz injury. I didn't see it. Didn't see it against West Ham. I'd love to see it now. Now, I happen to believe the team will be a 4-3-3 again. I think the team will be Raya, Ben White right back, Saliba, Gabriel, Timber left back, Partey, Rice, Odegaard, Wanyeri, Trossard, Marino. That's what I think the team will be. What I would do is I would go with Raya. I would go with exactly the same wing backs as you've said, other than Tierney would be my left wing back instead of Calafiori. And then I would have Partey, Rice, and then Wanyeri and Trossard would be ahead of Odegaard. Odegaard's got the last chance saloon for me. I can't see much more of this guy if he's not going to turn up in games when needed. And I don't think it's harsh that you've dropped him, if I'm honest. He's been embarrassing. He's been embarrassing.
He doesn't deserve a start. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people will say, and I agree with this quickly, like, you know, because I know you got to go. That Sterling had an absolute woeful game at Leicester, got to be dropped. Well, Odegaard's had 4 or 5 of them. Right?
Facts.
He has got credit in the bank for what he's done in the past and everything like that, where Sterling hasn't. But it comes to a stage now where I'm a big fan of Odegaard. It's not nothing. I'm not having a go at him when you say he's got. Sometimes you need a break. Needs to be just left out of the team for a little while, like, you know what I mean. and maybe we leave him out and we think, wow, that's how much we miss him. We didn't realise. I don't know. I just think his form's just been right off at this moment in time, So
see, this is the biggest thing I disagreed with when people said we are missing Martin Odegaard so badly when he was out with the injury. Saka was delivering, man. Saka was delivering. Now we need Martin, who we missed apparently, to help us out when Saka's missing, and he's nowhere to be seen.
I do agree with that, but Saka is a completely different player and plays a different role to him. Like, don't forget, he's got to make and create things as that. He's had his. It's like him going into war or into battle. He's got his main men not with him in Ben White and Saka, So I can see he hasn't got his. He's struggling a little bit from that point of view, which if any player would do, Dan, if I'd be really honest, just give him a little bit of leeway in that. But somewhere along the line, right, he ain't got them and he ain't had them for months, so you have to find other ways. And he hasn't. And that's why I'm a little bit down on him, if I'll be really honest.
Yeah, I'm with you, mate. Let's close on predictions. I'm going to stick with what I said yesterday on the preview on AFTV. Turkish was actually more positive than me, bruv. He thought we were going to score. I've gone with 2-0 to Forest. I think they'll eat us up here. I think they're going to be up for this game. They, believe it or not, have thrown away a title as well. Now, I know they weren't going for whatever, because if they got 6th, they'd still be happy, or 7th. But I truly believe they're going to be too much for us. If we play Calafiori at left back, then they are going to have an absolute field day like West Ham did, because he can't defend, as far as I'm concerned, what I've seen from him. So Elanga's going to run wild, or Hudson-Odoi, whoever plays over there. And Chris Wood will do what Chris Wood does. And I think that they are going to beat us 2-0. Gibbs White's going to show Odegaard how to play, because he's been balling out for them. He's a top player, he is, by the way, Gibbs White. And I wish I was wrong, but I think we're going to lose 2-0. But hopefully we win. What are you saying, bruv?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a horrible game, and I've said it I did say we'd beat, to get through these games. I said we had to beat Leicester 1-0, West Ham 1-0, Nottingham Forest 1-0, and that's what I'm going for. I think there's a little bit of pressure off in this game now. I don't think Forest are as good as what they were 2 or 3 weeks ago, if I'll be honest. But we haven't got the tools to get at them like the Newcastle did the other day. And listen, they come back well in that game, by the way. But for me, I think it'd be a boring game. And hopefully an Arsenal goal wakes me up when I'm watching the game, because I don't think it's going to be a thriller by any stretch of the imagination. 1-0 the Arsenal. But if Arsenal, as I said, if Forest win this game, I don't know why I was so upset on Saturday, because I did predict that could happen. It wouldn't surprise me if we don't win this game.
Pressure off. And if we do win it, and it proves all the doubts we had over Arsenal and pressure and mentality at the side. Look, big up to you, judges. It's always a pleasure, mate, speaking.
Yeah, always a pleasure, my man.
It's going to redirect you over to Terry, myself, and LB. We're going to be talking about all things football. I think we're going to be mentioning this Isak rumour. We're also going to be talking about Man United, Chelsea, who are in a mess, and, of course, the title race, which Arsenal, most people believe, are now out of. So big up to everybody. Make sure you do us a favour. Hit like, hit subscribe. There's been well over 1,000 of you in here, which is unbelievable. So thank you so much for joining us. Make sure you come and show some love to myself at Football's 12th Man as well. I'll be going live tonight, and it is a lit Arsenal panel. You do not want to miss it at 10 p.m. So please make sure you come and show some love over there as well. And Lee, I'll let you say the last word, mate.
Yeah, listen, whatever happens, we ain't going to lose over my dead body tomorrow.